everyone and welcome back to the channel. Sunderland are through to the FA Cup fourth round and deservedly so. Sunderland go to the Hill Dickey Stadium for the first time and pick up a 1-1 draw. They deserve to win the game though. Sunderland were excellent. I would say that possibly one of our best performances of the season on the road. We were at it from the start. You look at the lineup, we made a few changes, but we went pretty strong. I was an advocate of going strong. I was actually an advocate of maybe going stronger than what we did, but he brought in Luke O'Nien, Dennis Serkin came in. We had Hume and Mukiele staying from the game against Brentford. In the midfield, Siddiqui came in, and he was just at his absolute best again. What a player he is. We all know that, but yeah, him, Xhaka and Le Fee in the centre, and then we had Mundle. I thought I had a pretty good game with Dingra and Mayenda, sort of finishing out the 11. Robin Roofs in nets as well, which will become important as we talk about this game because obviously he is the hero of the day. But Sunderland, pretty much from the start of that game, I thought Sunderland looked far more at it than what Everton were. And I know, look, you can look at Everton's squad and look at their bench. You know, they didn't have many options today. You know, I think we've played Everton at a pretty kind time in terms of their squad depth, and I think it's pretty miraculous really that Sunderland are a newly promoted team and the depth that we have compared to Everton, considering we also have players, you know, at AFCON and a few other injuries. We just seem to have a lot more, you know, in the ranks than what Everton do, being in the Premier League for years. And yeah, there's not many of their players, to be brutally honest, that I would swap and put them in our team. And one of them would have been Jordan Pickford, but obviously we've got Robin Roofs, and Robin Roofs just keeps proving how good of a player he is with the penalty shootout, but just how good he's been. So I don't know how many players I would take from the Everton team into the Sunderland team. Anyway, that's a different question for a different day. On to the game itself, I thought Sunderland were really, really good. To be honest, I just thought we exerted a control. There was a point in the first half where we had like 70% of the ball. Everton just couldn't get off us. Their press was weak. And then when we lost the ball, we were really good at winning it back, and we're really good at pressing Everton when they were in possession of it. I thought Sunderland on Wednesday against Brentford and even against Spurs last weekend looked tired and fatigued. And today we didn't look anywhere near as tired and fatigued, and that might come with the changes that we made in the team. But yeah, we just looked more at it, and we took the lead deservedly so. Brilliant goal, Enzo Le Fee with a fantastic finish, and you know he was the villain on Wednesday night, wasn't he? But he puts himself as the hero in this one, and just an excellent goal. And I think, to be honest, one of the things I did notice in this game was that we were taking a lot more long-range shots. Mundle had a few, which were well saved, and I think Le Fee had another one as well. I think Xhaka might have had one. But we were taking much more shots from range, which I've been calling for a while. I think that we are sometimes a little bit too safe with the ball and not taking those risks. And today I thought we were doing that. So I was pretty pleased, to be honest, with the way that the game went. And even into the second half, you know, as you'd expect, Everton, I think probably, you know, did dominate possession, but they didn't create a whole host of chances. They had that one header, I think, with Tieno Barry. Beto, I think, had one sort of half chance that missed. Everton created nothing, and they end up getting a ridiculous penalty. It's just never a penalty in a million years. Their guy, I think it's Asnu, the guy they got from Bayern Munich. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong, but he kicks into Hume and then goes down, and the referee gives the penalty. And I've watched it a few times, and I don't know. If the VAR's there, it would get overturned. It was an absolutely honking decision. And to be honest, I think that decision stems, if I'm being honest, from the midweek with Everton and the way that they've went on with the two red cards, which in my opinion were both red cards. The Michael Keane where he pulled the hair, that was a red card for me. You can't do that. And then Grealish sarcastically applauding. We all know that's a yellow card, so he got sent off. And I think that played at the referee's thinking, to be honest. I think that he felt like, you know, Everton have been complaining so much about the officiating that, you know, he had to give them a decision because it's just never a penalty in a million years. And he was so confident in giving it. And yeah, they get one. James Garner takes it. You know, Roofs, to be fair, nearly gets to it, but yeah, it goes in. And we head to a pretty undeserved extra time because I thought Sunderland was so comfortably the better team in this game. It was so frustrating, and I thought the writing was on the wall that we were going to end up losing the game on penalties because Everton had nothing. You know, they were so, you know, talk about us being fatigued. They are so fatigued, and they're so out of form right now, and they've got no real options on the bench, no real senior pros to bring on. I think they had Barry, they had that the guy who got the penalty, and other than that, I don't think anyone else had really had a senior appearance behind them, other than the two goalkeepers on there. So Everton was so stretched that I thought that they probably wouldn't win it in extra time, but I didn't know if we would have enough in our tank to win it. And to be honest, extra time went out on without much incident. I thought we were going to be the one that would win it, though. We did look threatening, just couldn't get the final click, and that is a big issue with Sunderland. Obviously, we do have a lot of territory in the right areas, but our decision making can be incorrect, it's fair to say at times. We get the penalty shootout, and the penalty shootout, it's all about Robin Roofs. Our penalties were excellent, though. Le Fee, you know, he's not messing about. That's what he should have done on Wednesday. Put his foot through it. Xhaka, really good penalty. And Luke O'Nien wins it with a fantastic penalty. The saves by Roofs, you know, you can't ask much more from a goalkeeper. He's just, yeah, we've got to enjoy him while he's here, because he is an incredible goalkeeper, and it was shown by the penalty saves. To be honest, when you see him in the goal, you kind of always think he's got a chance on penalties. He's obviously saved one already in the league this season, and yeah, he did so well with it, and he's the hero, and he takes all the plaudits. But to be honest, I thought to a man today, Sunderland were excellent. We were everything we weren't against Brentford midweek. And if we go through the players, obviously Roofs did really, really well. Didn't have much to do, to be honest, in the regular game, but he did really, really well, and obviously in the penalty shootout. But Nordy was excellent again today, considering the amount of football that he's played. He just continues to be a Rolls Royce of a defender. I thought Hume did well today. Serkin was excellent. We need to get that contract sorted out. I keep saying that because he is a brilliant footballer. He's a player that I think has shown that he's good enough to play in the Premier League. We've got to get him tied down to a new deal. Luke O'Nien, you know, I know there's a lot of people on this channel that don't like Luke O'Nien. A lot of people who watch my stuff that don't like him, and I've always been a fan. I thought he was brilliant today. I thought just everything he did was good. And people will be, you know, even if you don't rate Luke O'Nien as a player, you've got to accept that on days like today. I thought, you know, he was so good, and he deserves all the praise in the world. The journey that he's obviously been on with us, and he puts in a performance like that, his first start against Premier League level opposition, and he didn't look out of place. I thought Luke O'Nien was absolutely fantastic. Obviously gets the winning penalty as well. Yeah, huge. Xhaka was just unbelievable today. The way he was controlling the game, I thought he had about as good of a game as I remember with Sunderland, to be honest. I thought he was that good. Siddiqui next to him just gives you all that energy in there. Le Fee, of course, gets the goal. You know, I do think we've got an issue with our wingers. You know, I don't think Adingra had his best game. I think Mundo was okay, he was industrious, but again, it's just lacking that bit of end product. And I think it's the area of the team that, you know, if we are going to invest in January, I would expect us to invest, is probably the wings. I thought Mayenda had some good touches in there as well. But yeah, overall, what we wanted, and what I wanted when I was talking about the preview, was for us to take this competition seriously, and we have taken it very, very seriously. And they've said after the game that we're going to do that in the next round, and we've got a chance. Look, I'm not saying we're going to win the FA Cup. I'm not saying we're going to get, you know, into the semi-finals or the final. But Crystal Palace won it last year. You've got a chance with this team. This group of players is capable of going against any other group of players in the Premier League and getting a result. We've seen that already this season. We've not lost against, you know, the top three at home. If we get favourable draws, you never know where it can go. So I think we've got to keep taking this competition very, very seriously. And I think Sunderland have got a chance to make a bit of history this season with it. Because you look at the league, yeah, you know, we want to finish as high as possible in it. But are we going to be able to get in the top 6 or 7? It's going to be difficult to do that. And even if you do get in there, you get the prize of Europe, yes. But imagine winning a trophy. You know, what an amazing thing that would be. And, you know, this was a difficult tie. Going to Everton away, one of the, you know, if you look at all the ties that were played today, it was one of the most difficult ones you could have got, really, in terms of the ones drawn. Playing against another Premier League team, 3 games in a week on the road after that busy Christmas period. This was a really bad game for Sunderland in a lot of respects, and we've come through the test. We deserve to win the game in the 90 minutes, but we end up finding a way in penalties, and yeah. We've got a big game next weekend against Crystal Palace. Obviously, they've lost against Macclesfield in the FA Cup today, which they'll be hurting. You know, really, really hurting with, and they seem to have went off form. They'll be looking to make amends next weekend against Sunderland. They'll be looking to make that right. So that should be a really, really interesting game and an interesting prospect for Sunderland, because I think Crystal Palace will be at it next weekend to try and make up for this past weekend. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, this next week, me and Taff are going to be back as well. So we'll have all of our usual shows. We're going to have a bumper propaganda. We'll obviously have the review of the Everton game and also the other games that have been played this week. And then we'll have a preview, of course, for Crystal Palace. Maybe a new signing to talk about as well. I don't know. Feels like Sunderland have been pretty quiet so far, but we are quite the sort of club that does things out of the blue. So it'll be interesting to see. But anyways, we're through to the 4th round. Interested to see we get in the draw, hoping for a home tie, hoping that if it is a home tie, we all get behind the team. We can pack out the Stadium of Light for it and make it a really big occasion, because I think Sunderland, they've got a chance this season to make waves in the FA Cup. I really, really do, because we can go toe-to-toe with any team, and when you can do that, you've got a chance against anyone. And the big teams, how seriously do they take it? You know, and that means you've got a chance to knock off one of the big boys in one of the early rounds. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. Really, really just happy that we've got through that. I'm happy that we've got through this AFCON period, and you know, Sadiqi's back, Ronaldo's back, and we're going to hopefully have, you know, sort of what this team looked like a month ago, where we were in really, really good form. So I'm excited for, you know, the second half of the season now. I feel like Sunderland's in a really good position to do some special things this season. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave a like, please subscribe. Please also let me know your thoughts on the Everton game in the comment section below, and we'll catch you very soon for another video, probably when I'm not in this lovely heat and probably in the misery of the northeast weather.